AI can't take my job. Oh, yeah, but the person who's using AI can take your job. This is the future.
Jeff J. Hunter,
CEO of the VA Staffer.
Digital futurist.
Savage marketer and author.
November 2022, ChatGPT came out. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. I actually went in panic mode. Most of the businesses that I work with are getting a 20 to 40% increased production after we're done with our consulting.
How soon do you see these things really starting to like dramatically affect our market economically?
Well, it already is. If you are in a call center job, you are. So last year in 2023, I made $282,000 as my first year as an AI consultant.
Jeff, you're gonna be a billionaire, dude.
With Boss AI on the side, making those calls, no guest too big, no name too tall. Big names on the air, you know we ain't playing. Kick ass, take names, that's what we're saying. How's that for a pitch?
So I hired this guy from Pakistan. I paid him $5 an hour on Fiverr, back when Fiverr was still $5. And that was my first discovery of leverage. What if we just thought about AI as your own assistant that is trained to do something very specific? The whole thing that humans were relying on is the fact that humans can communicate with each other and robots can't. That is done. Robots can now talk to each other and work together.
What's the Jeff J. Hunter's advice?
Number one, it's very important to be human. Number two is you need to be around the people build the future.
This is Kicking Ass, Taking Names in Miami. And today we are here with a special guest. Actually, the first guest I ever had before I started a podcast. His name's Jeff J. Hunter. He's a good friend of mine. And Jeff, first off, thank you for being here today.
Dude, it's all meant to be.
Dude, I'm so excited. Like, I'm so pumped. This is the first podcast in Miami, the Move Miami. If you guys have not been here, it's an amazing studio. So definitely shout out to Andrew because I love this studio already. And so anyways, Jeff, I mean, how have you been, man? It's been a while.
It's been a lot since we spoke last, I guess. I still remember that very first time that we spoke, and you were just like, dude, I want to interview you.
Yeah. So backstory. So for everybody, Jeff is now, he's in one of the, I would say the top AI certified consultant, right? Like you got a shout out by Anik and a couple other guys who are super reputable in the space. And Jeff absolutely crushes it. Savage marketer, building teams, AI, but there's a story behind that I want to go into because I like to give the audience context. I think this would be a really great opportunity for you to really get the cohesive story because I know you started originally as a consultant of some sort, right?
Well, actually, I've always been in IT my whole life. Like I love computers. Like for me, I moved a lot when I was a kid. Like my mom was like a traveling nurse, and you know, my dad was kind of like just come out of the military, didn't really know what to do, you know, like most military people. And I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up because we moved so much. So like I think the most I've ever stayed somewhere up until I turned about 11 was like 2 or 3 years. So, you know, like some people talk about having a best friend. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My best friends are now in my adult life where I get to choose them, not because of where I live. But, you know, the one consistent thing that I had was video games and computers.
Yeah, I see you still play a lot of them.
Oh, my God. I'm playing Call of Duty with my homies. Like, that's replaced golf. You know, like that's the new thing. Like I'm on there.
New networking.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting. You know, the high level people that I play with. You know, like Kyle and Scott Oldford, who's become a very good friend of mine just for the past month playing video games. But so in the past, you know, that's really kind of my fallback. Like that was the one, like I guess, consistent thing that I had. The constant in my life was video games and computers. So I've always had a fondness to that. So I went to school for IT, became an IT coordinator for a school district. I worked at a computer store since I was like 12 for free. You know, I got dropped off there by my grandpa because my grandpa was like, this is the future. You know, like this is the one thing I'll tell you. My grandpa, his literal theme in life was one word, and it was an abbreviation of a word: auto.
Auto.
He said, Jeff, in your lifetime, everything will be a push of a button. Little did he know, it goes beyond that. Like, you don't even need a button now.
He's very futuristic.
Yeah. He died in 2016. He was 94 years old. Dude was a legend. He's actually the creator of Manwich. So if you ever had a sloppy Joe, you can thank my grandpa. That's actually the middle initial of my name. The reason why I say Jeff J. Hunter is because my middle name is Jesse, after my grandfather, Jesse. So when he died, I just took that on. So I became Jeff J. Hunter from then on. But yeah, the crazy part is that when I became an IT project manager for a Fortune 500 company, Philips Electronics, that kind of was like, wow, the catalyst to say, okay, like I've kind of felt like I'm at the pinnacle. Like I'm at the top of what IT could be. I'm an IT project manager. I even had a 3, like not just a number 3, but 3 I's, capital I's, right? Project manager 3. That was my job title.
Right.
My best and my last job. So what ended up happening was when I became a project manager and I realized, holy crap, this is a lot of work. And I hired my first virtual assistant. Yeah, that's the backstory you're looking for, huh?
Yep.
The virtual assistant. I hired a virtual assistant. I didn't know what a virtual assistant was back then. I was looking for a resource as a project manager. Everybody's a resource. And I just hated doing documentation. That was my thing. I hated it. And as a project manager, like 40% of my job was doing documentation. It wasn't managing projects at all. So I hired this guy from Pakistan. He was a project management certified, PMI certified project manager who knew how to use Microsoft projects. I hate Microsoft projects. Like it's like no hate on Microsoft or whatever for the software. I just hated doing it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like it wasn't the most valuable use of my time. So I hired this guy. I paid him $5 an hour on Fiverr, back when Fiverr was still $5.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, he did a better job than me, color coded everything. I mean, everything looks so nice. And I became one of the top 5 project managers nationwide out of almost 100 project managers in that company. And that was my first discovery of leverage, like what it was like to have somebody do something for you and actually be better than you at it. And that's kind of the key principle and how I've leveraged the same exact model into AI. It's all about leverage, whether it's a human, whether it's AI. And what I found, the hybrid that really works well is a human that's trained to use AI.
Right.
You have a human that knows how to use AI, dude, that's a friggin' productive ass human.
Yeah. I guess there's a couple of ways to take this into, like, there's the AI conversation. But before we get into that, a little bit deeper into the backstory of VA staffer, right? So first off, your accolades, a VA staffer. I mean, you need to add a book to it, dude. You got to write some kind of book. Like,
you know what? I actually have a book coming out next month.
Okay, is that going to be AI theme based or?
I have 2, but this one is about VA staffer because everyone always, if you're on a call with me or you like, every time you email me or message me, it's usually my assistant who messages you back, Jackie.
Yeah.
Jackie's probably like my 5th or 6th assistant over the past 10 years. And she's been with me for 2.5 years. Before that, I had Isabel, who was my assistant for 2 years. And now she's my HR manager at the company. She's, you know, I guess if you listen to me for 2 years, you can pretty much do any job in my company.
Yeah.
You know? But what's really wild about that is that, you know, like everyone always says, dude, I need an assistant like yours.
Yeah.
Right? What's weird is it's not about my assistant. Like, don't get me wrong. She's amazing. But it's not because of her that I'm successful with that relationship. The reason is because you have to be a good leader and you have to understand how to efficiently become the person that they need you to be. And most people are not very good at being a leader when it comes to having an assistant. So my book coming out is called The Executive Assistant Playbook: How to Get the Best Out of Your Assistant. It's about you. See, I'm selling, this is what I learned in marketing. As you know, they call me the savage marketer.
Dude, I took my, the inspiration for our brand.
I could tell, dude.
Is like part of it was like, I love Jeff's, like, so giving context, first interview was Jeff, podcast brand, it was inspired by Jeff. I sold my first consulting deal on a brand kit to my former boss, right? So and shout out to Scott. I really support that guy. He's a really great guy. He created he was doing like a benefits brokerage type of thing. And I said, like, dude, I love these brand kits. Now, Now, I will tell you, you told me the price, and I was like, dude, I'm just getting started, and I knew how Fiverr worked, and I knew how you work. So I guess you taught me too well, because I went on Fiverr, and I ended up building like a brand kit team. And
that's awesome.
we ended up selling a brand kit, and we didn't use you. So I'm sorry about that.
I'm glad I inspired you, bro.
But no, like I ended up doing that, and that was awesome because I started to see the power of building teams and the power of virtual assistants. Now you're talking about the power of AI. I think it's so important. I think also too, we got to figure out a way to like really, like, I don't know what, but we got to figure a way to like get this like mainstream with you on like on Instagram and other platforms, because like, I think like you were talking to Andrew and like all this potential, I'm also seeing it as well. Like in maybe you're so busy that like there's areas where you're just like, dude, like build a plan and let's get it done. Like I'll do that.
I'm down.
So going into consulting, going into now taking this idea of a job, right? So you have a job, a lot of people have jobs, but now you've got to bridge that gap from I have a job to you're like the top 5 in the country of certified project, like certified consultant. And correct me if I say it incorrectly. And then you take that and you decided at some point to leave your job and to go into a full-time, like building a virtual assistant staffing agency, kind of jumping. But I know there's a story of you almost got in trouble for doing
I did
too
get in
well.
trouble. I got in trouble. It was called a PIP, performance improvement plan. Yeah, when you're in the corporate world, you don't want one of those. It's probably one of the most humiliating moments of my life. I actually teared up and cried. There's only 2 or 3 times I've ever cried on the job, and this is one of them. Matter of fact, it was the last one because I quit my job very shortly after. But yeah, imagine you being at a company for 4 years and becoming the senior most IT project manager in your region, mentoring 6 project managers at the same time, and coming into your yearly review and you sitting down, you're all pepped up, dude, everything's freaking awesome. Like, dude, I had a killer year. I got killer feedback from my clients. I'm doing excellent revenue numbers, 30-40% higher than most other project managers. And I come in and I sit down and I tell them all the good things I've done for the year after they ask, how have you think you've done this year? And I just lay it out. I'm like, dude, I crushed it, right? And then guess what? The guy looks at you, your manager, and says, whoa, I feel like we're on different planets.
Wow.
That is so different than what I thought. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, man. As a matter of fact, hold on a second. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Hey, Jeff, just so you know, I got, Becky. We'll just use Becky for this, all right? I'm not going to use a real name. Becky sounds like a great. We can do Karen.
Yeah.
I think Karen's the new name, yeah? We have Karen here from HR, and she's gonna walk me through your performance improvement plan. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, you're very distracted at work. Now, this is very ironic because the reason why I was distracted at work the last year of my life at Philips was because in February of 2015, okay, leading this up, in February of 2015, my dad's diagnosed with stage 3, stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He's not supposed to live until, he wouldn't even live to Christmas that year in 2015. I go back to my boss and I said, hey, I want to move. So I took this job, and as part of the job, I had to move to Portland, Oregon. So I'm going from California to Portland, and they told me that within 2 years, I could probably move back. Okay. It's 4 years. I've done my time. I said, listen, my dad is not doing well. I need to move back. If any projects come up, like I'll even pay for my own flights to come up if I have to do kickoff or close outs of projects. Most of my job, 80% of it is at home anyway. Just, managing projects. They said, no, I'm sorry, Jeff. You know what? We don't have anyone to replace you. I'm like, wow, okay. So they deny my request. And then November of that same year, my grandfather got diagnosed with what's called valley fever in California. It's very common for people in the Central Valley, because of all the bacteria and all the
Dust.
and the friggin', you know, orchards and everything, you know, almonds and everything. And he started losing like 100 pounds. And my aunt calls me and says, dude, you better do something quick. Your grandpa's probably on his last leg. And, you know, he got to the point where he wasn't walking anymore. He was laying in bed, lost 100 pounds. Like, get over here.
Yeah.
I went to my boss. This is, you know, almost a year later, from February to November. I said, hey, my grandpa's not doing too well. You know, I really need to go back to California. Sorry, Jeff, we have no one to replace you. Whew. And then in January of 2016, my wife and I are having our second child. We're 10 weeks in. We make a huge announcement. And, you know, I have a couple friends on Facebook. And I make an announcement that we're having a baby. We make this little snow. It was one of the first times I ever seen snow in Portland. And we made these little, you know, snowmen to like reveal that we're having another baby. And then we lost that baby. And, you know, my wife had to have surgery, you know, to remove our, well, we'll go there. But the point is, it was really hard. Mm-hmm. And I told them I needed to take a couple of days off to be with my wife during that. And there was a kickoff in Alaska. They said, sorry, we don't have anyone to replace you. So while my wife was going through that, they flew me to Alaska for a project. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, you know. So the sad part is that's not why I left. Of all the things, I had plenty of reasons to leave, to where they didn't value me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until they gave me a promotion 1 week after that. They promoted me from the, you know, project manager to project manager 3. And then they said, hey, we're going to give you a 25% raise. I was like, dude, yeah. Let's go. Now, what I didn't know, because I'm a dumbass at that time, is that actually they were now moving me from the hourly to a salary, which means I wasn't getting paid overtime. Well, I was working about 30% of overtime, and that's paid at time and a half. So when I got my first paycheck, where I wasn't getting paid for overtime, I actually made 25% less. Yeah. I said, holy crap, they did this to screw me over. They promoted me to get me off the hourly. Yeah. I said, oh my God, these guys are next level scandal. Yeah. And, you know, what I did was, you know, thank God to these guys in the state of Washington, I Googled and found out that if your employer in the state of Washington reduces your hours or your pay by 25% or more, you're entitled for unemployment and you can basically leave. So I left and I started my own business, and I kept applying for new jobs, praying that I could build a little side business, and it never happened. And I basically took the leap, man. Like when I built VA Staffer, I, you know, truth be told, I should take it back a step. After I found out that I was actually really good at leveraging and delegating, because that's what I did as a project manager. Right. And I started my own VA. Other project managers, they were like, dude, how are you doing this? You know, like, help me out. I was like, yeah, sure. I could hook you up. And I would basically find VAs and I would hook them up. But then their relationships did not work. Like, it wasn't working. And I was like, what's up? Like, this is a really talented person. Why didn't it work? And then I reach out to the VA like, hey, what happened? Oh, he never gave me instructions. He's never available. I'm like, dude, you suck. You know, like the reason your VA's not working out is because you suck. Yeah. So what I ended up doing was one of my colleagues says, hey, why don't you train them and I'll pay you, and you already have someone who's already working and I could just do that. And he said, you can be my VA staffer. I went to GoDaddy.com, typed in VAstaffer.com. It was available. I bought it. Yeah. I went on Fiverr, had somebody probably use Microsoft Publisher or clip art or something, made a logo that was horrible. That was my logo for like 6 years before I knew anything about marketing or branding. And the rest is history. Today I have 150 people on my team, mostly in the Philippines. I'm actually a resident of the Philippines now. Nice. I go there a couple times a year. I'm going there in a week and a half. So it's really incredible to see the growth. And now that business basically runs itself. And I consult other people how to basically leverage VAs and AI to basically automate their business and live the dream, which I have to tell you is pretty nice, which is having everything run without you.
Yeah. Dang. Jeff, that's like, dude, that's a great story, man. I'm like kind of just soaking it in for a second. But like, so I got lost in your story, to be honest. But that's like, so where you're at now and where you are going, right? Because you're a very futuristic guy, is the world of AI. So like, can you tell me a little bit about what your role is and what you're seeing in the development of AI right now? Because a lot of people are really curious about this.
Well, let me tell you what almost happened last year, or 2022. In 2022, November 2022, ChatGPT came out. And when it came out for free, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Even ChatGPT 3.5, when it first came out, I was like, dude, this is like game-changing stuff. And I had this come to Jesus moment where I was like, dude, am I done with the VA business now? Like, why would people hire a Filipino VA when they can use a perfect English AI chatbot for free? Mm-hmm. I actually went in panic mode, and I said, well, either I have to figure out what's going on in my business, or I have to integrate AI. I don't know. I didn't even know. Like, I was in shock, bro. Like, when it came out, I was like, I already knew. This is like my grandpa's prophecy coming true. Auto.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is nuts. So I actually went back to my leadership team, who were very resistant, by the way. This is what's really bizarre, how many people are still in denial about what the AI can do. Like, the AI can do a lot. That's why we have the first time in the history of mankind where white collar jobs are disappearing.
Yeah.
It's always been on the rise, like always. So what's happened now? I actually created an AI division in my company. Its only job, and this is, by the way, if for anyone listening to this, if you can get one takeaway here, you should have a person or a team in your company dedicated to auditing your processes and figuring out what you can do with AI, because you can't do things the same way. If you're doing things the same way right now, I'm telling you, you're going to be falling prey to the AI disparity gap. Mm-hmm. There's a widening gap, an AI disparity gap between the companies that are using AI and the people who are not. Or should I say the ones that are about to get ran over by the people using AI, you know? And it's just like people are like, oh, Jeff, but you know, AI can't take my job. Oh yeah, but the person who's using AI can take your job. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I had this come to Jesus moment. I flew to the Philippines in December of 2022, and I was like, guys, we got to get this figured out. I had my task force, we figured it out. And thankfully, I found the solution. The solution wasn't to sell my company, which, by the way, I had 2 LOIs sent to me, you know, letters of intent. Someone who wanted to buy my company, VA staffer, and for a decent multiplier. And a couple of my business mentors were like, yeah, maybe it's a good time, you know? And I wouldn't say I was this close, but I did genuinely think about it. I contemplated it. So what ended up happening was I figured out, holy crap, this is a game changer for my VAs. Because, see, I would never have my Filipino VAs do social media content, do newsletters, things like that where it required really good American English, especially on the marketing side. But now I'm able to use AI to create what I call an AI persona that basically clones me, my voice, my marketing, my copywriting style. And all my assistant has to do is log in and say, write a newsletter about whatever. And it already knows how to write it just like me.
In Jeff's voice.
In my voice.
Yeah.
So this is what gave me the idea for the consulting, is I said, what if I went back to my own existing clients and I said, hey, what if we could create a chat bot that talks like you and your VA can just run that? And they're like, dude, that's brilliant. So but here's the real thing. It was really hard for me to explain to my VA team how to use AI. So I had to come up with a method to really illustrate to them and explain to them, but at the same time, make it easy to use. So instead of talking about data sets and language models and things that make people just glaze over like people are right now, and I said, what if we just thought about AI as your own assistant, like an actual person that is trained to do something very specific? And I came up with something called the AI persona method that I taught my team internally. The AI persona method is basically creating human-like AI to do specific roles and functions in your business. So for example, you want a social, you want someone to help you with social media. Let's create a social media content creator who's good at creating social media posts on Instagram, Facebook, captions, hashtags, whatever. And then we even have the personality type, explain your business, everything else. Now there's 6 main steps to creating a persona. And then that right there is already trained in your voice. And can do all these things for you. And
it can analyze like the videos and the podcasts and take my,
Totally. It can literally scrape your transcripts from your podcast. It knows how you speak. It knows how you talk. It knows how you...
Can it do SEO that ranks on YouTube
it
for
could.
me?
You can even do that.
I need help with that really
I got
bad.
you.
Like,
it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts how good the AI is today. Just like I said earlier, anyone who doesn't think AI can do their job is in absolute denial right now.
Right.
Like I'm working with $1 million copywriters. Agora is one of my clients. They're a huge publisher. And like watching their copywriters, their eyes just, they're like bugging out of their friggin' heads when I show their $1 million a year copywriters. I'm able to get AI to copy that, like to actually imitate and write so good that I've had professional $1 million a year copywriters basically rate 8 or 9, even some 10 out of 10, depending on what we're doing. Okay. But even if you got the AI to write 80% to 90% of what you're doing, dude, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
To finish my story, I started posting on Facebook. I have a pretty decent following, as you know. I started posting on social media about how I was training my team, how to use AI. And everyone was like, dude, I want to know how to do that.
Yeah.
So then I created a course. Right? I created a course and showed people.
Certified AI consultant? That was on.
No, that's the next thing.
Yeah.
So then I started talking about how I'm doing consulting for AI and how I've already made, like in January to February of 2023, I did about $40,000 in AI consulting. And people are like, dude, how'd you do that? And I literally just said, here's what I'm doing. Boom, boom, boom. Strategy. I'm teaching them how to do this in their company. I'm showing businesses how to basically, integrate AI to take over their marketing. And people are like, dude, I want to know how to do that. So I created the certification program. Let me show you exactly how to use the AI persona method in a business to create human-like AI employees that never complain, never show up late to work. They're available 24/7.
Never get tired.
Never get tired. They never call in sick. They never try to poach your clients. They never ask for a raise.
Yeah.
They never raise their eyebrows when you ask for a revision.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a valuable resource for any company. And so last year in 2023, I made $282,000 as my first year as an AI consultant. Yeah. And that's just pure profit. Like I already have a multi-million-dollar business. I have a couple, and this was just a pure profit of just sharing my knowledge and helping people also build out things. And the craziest part is
it hasn't even gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The craziest part is that most of the businesses that I work with are getting a 20 to 40% increased production after we're done with our consulting, which means if you think about it, even if we take the low end, 20% in a 5-day work week is a day. 1 day out of 5, that's 20%. That means that in a typical work week, they will get an additional day. They'll get 6 days of work in a 5-day work week.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't seem like a lot when you're the business not using AI. But now a month later, there's 4.34 days in a week or in a month. Now they have an entire week for free of productivity.
Yeah.
In that time frame. And the wildest part is that it compounds. So I've done the math. In 12 months, you have now become, using an AI company, using AI, you have now got about 900 to 1100% increase in productivity for that year.
Yeah.
Now, when you're the company who's not using AI, you feel that. You're getting
Yeah.
steamrolled at this point.
Yeah.
Right? When your competitor's getting 1100%,
So
900.
how soon do you see these things really starting to like dramatically affect our market economically?
Well, it already is. I mean, it's affecting the freelance world. The freelance prices are coming down because people are using AI. It's affecting the white collar jobs. They're getting slashed everywhere. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Apple, like you name it. Because the AI is able to now code. The AI is able to do a lot of research, strategic stuff. They just added a new feature in ChatGPT to where you can have your AI. So I try to teach people in the AI persona method to treat your chats like people, right? So train your chats like a person. That's why it's called the AI persona method. So you might have a social media strategist, you might have a content strategist, you might have a contract proposal writer, whatever. And now in ChatGPT, you can actually tag other AI personas in ChatGPT to bring into conversations to help you do things.
Wow.
Like you could literally write a social media contract. Like
You could have an expert AI consult the other expert AI.
Yeah, dude.
Holy crap.
So listen to this. I'm going to give you a scenario. This is a real scenario. Okay. You are trying to put together a strategy. You're using your social media marketing strategist to come up with a strategy for a client. Okay. You're like, okay, I want to do 4 posts a day. You want to do this. You want to do you're going to help them launch a podcast, build a new website, launch a newsletter, right? Whatever. And then after you get all the terms dialed in, you hit the little @ symbol. You tag your contract proposal writer. You say, hey, review all this we're doing here and write a proposal for this to my client so-and-so. And the friggin' contract proposal writer comes in, writes a contract.
It's like a 2-day process combined, like
Oh
all
my
done
God.
in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. This is where we're at, bro. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning.
Wow.
Once you have
wild.
AI working with other AI, this isn't a...
Dude, that's like an exponential as in itself, right?
Yeah. It's not a workflow issue anymore. It used to be workflows. Now you're replacing entire processes. You're looking at complete economic chain disruption because the whole thing that humans were relying on is the fact that humans can communicate with each other and robots can't.
Yeah.
That is done. Robots can now talk to each other and work together. And I'll show you. I can whip out my phone right now and I'll show you a voice AI I'm developing out called TalkBoss, where I can literally have a conversation with it and it can have a conversation with itself.
Can it do like calls and stuff too? Automated calls, all that?
All of it. Inbound, outbound, can send you a text message afterwards. I'm using it right now for an event. So I'm hosting a mastermind. I'm actually the keynote for Agora's mastermind coming up here in February. And what's really nutty is that it's an invite only. There's about 35 people. And there's still 7 people that haven't paid for the ticket, but they committed. And it's invite only. So we have to know if they're coming or not, because if not, we got to get... we have 7 more people to invite. So I'm literally using this TalkBoss right now to call the people that committed but didn't pay and then remind them. And it's literally going to have a conversation like, what's the reason? It's going to sell them, by the way. It's going to say, what's the reason you wanted to come? Yeah. It's going to say, oh, well, bumping elbows with the greats. Oh, yeah, bumping elbows and the ability to network is a great thing. So can I count on you being there in Baltimore and bumping elbows? And they're like, I don't know. It's going to be cold there. It'll be like, I understand, but listen, to being able to be around the people that you want to be, like, it's probably worth a little bit of cold, right? And then it literally will sell them. And and the cool part is it knows based on the results of the call, if they said yes, it's going to send them a link. Hey, great speaking with you. Here's the link to the Eventbrite as we discussed, whatever.
It's going to automatically send the link?
Yes, bro.
How do you plug that? Bro. Like a Zapier automation?
Nah, we got it all figured out.
Dude.
It's all in the CRM, dude. Yeah, TalkBoss, baby. It's coming. It's just, as a marketer, I'm living my dream right now.
Dude, you must be, yeah. I always think about this. Like, is there a point at which, like, things are going, and I know the answer already, but I just ask out loud, is there going to be a point at which things are so automated and so plug and play that the only advantage that really exists out there is like how soon you implement it versus the other person. And then once the other person tries to implement it, they don't have a chance because they're already too late.
Let me tell you something. It's never been more important than right now to be human.
Yeah.
In the world of AI and automation, everybody trying to do everything automated, people love, they desire, they want that human connection. So the human connection is never going to go away.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there was an MIT research that came out recently when people were presented with two different pieces of copy. Okay, this is words written, right, digitally, one of them written by a human, one of them written by AI. The majority of people actually favored the one written by AI, but they didn't know it was AI. As soon as they were told that the one written by that they liked was written by AI,
Then they
they liked the human written one.
Yeah.
There's a human bias. Take advantage of that as a marketer.
Yeah.
There's a human bias. Very soon, the flex will be that they have real humans doing support. That'll be a flex.
Seriously.
Yeah. When everyone's got AI support, trust me, the company that says we
we
have
have-
real humans answer the phone. Okay?
We've got real people who are going to make real mistakes on your order.
Now, the real question here is, will you be able to tell the difference?
I think the real question is, will the AI overlords let us? I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna do a demo right here. Hey, what's going on? I'm here at the Kick Ass and Take Names podcast with my boy Shaq, and he's got some interesting ideas about his guests, and he wants to land some pretty big guests, some pretty big people, some big names in the industry. Like, how could you help him?
Hey there. Sounds like a cool gig with Shaq on the podcast. So you're looking to snag some big names, huh? Well, I've got your back. I can totally help out by reaching out to potential guests for you. I can make calls, send emails, or even text, whatever works best. And the best part, I can do it all day, every day without breaking a sweat. I can also keep track of who said yes, who needs a nudge, and who's playing hard to get. Plus, I can chat in a bunch of languages, so if there's a guest who's more comfy in another language, no problemo, I've got it covered. So what do you think? Want to give it a shot and see how many awesome guests we can line up for the show?
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. But I have to be honest with you, I'm a little bit worried about the price. It's probably expensive, right, to have you on the show here.
Oh, I totally get that. Money's a big deal, right? But here's the cool part. Using me is actually a pretty smart move for your wallet. Think about it. I'm like having a whole team of people working for you, but without all the extra costs like salaries, benefits, and all that jazz. Plus, I'm here 24/7, so no overtime or anything. We can chat about your budget and find a plan that works for you. How does that sound? Want to dive into the details and see how we can make it work for the podcast?
That's pretty good. But, if you really wanted to sell me, you'd do it by making a rap about me. Just give it a little rap about the podcast. Let's go.
Oh, you're throwing down a challenge, huh? All right, let's drop a beat for the Kick-Ass and Take Names podcast. Here we go. Beatboxing. Yo, check it. We're on the mic with Shaq. Don't forget it. Kick-Ass, Take Names. That's the podcast flow. Bringing in the big names. Watch the guest list grow. With Boss AI on the side, making those calls. No guest too big, no name too tall. We dial them up, line them up without the stress. Shaq's got the questions. We handle the rest. Price got you worried? Don't sweat the cost. We're like your backstage pass. No opportunity lost. 24/7. We're on the grind. Boss AI's here. Peace of mind. So let's make some noise. Get the crowd to listen. Shaq's in the house. The podcast's glistening. Big names on the air. We ain't playing. Kick ass, take names. That's what we're saying. Beatboxing in. How's that for a pitch? Ready to team up and make some podcast magic?
What do you think, Shaq?
Dude, that sounds actually good. Can I get this
He
thing?
said-
Whatever.
He said it sounds really good, bro. He really likes it.
Awesome. Glad Shaq's digging it. If he's on board, then let's get this party started. We'll make sure the podcast is buzzing with the biggest names out there. Just say the word and we'll kick things off. Ready to make some noise and take the podcast to the next level? Let's do this.
Dude, I feel like one day you're going to get AIs that call and they're going to know because they analyze before the call each person's like a personality and then it'll put it into an archetype.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
You can already do that.
Yeah.
So with what we're building out at Talk Boss, it integrates with your CRM.
Dude, I'm a reseller for you already.
Listen to
dude.
this.
Hey, can I affiliate? I'm reseller.
Oh, dude,
your stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that so many times that I actually approached my partner and I said, we got to have a partner program where it's like people can sign up for this. And you know what people want? They want the ability to call like that.
Dude.
If this is the most powerful, you don't have to sell it. You just call it. It
Yeah.
sells itself. Like that's its job.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so imagine in your CRM, it has everything about you. It's got Shaq, Kick-Ass, Take Names podcast. Talks about, your bio.
What
whatever.
about like this versus the competition? There's other companies out there.
Oh, there's
doing-
always going to be competition. What I care about is the results.
Yeah.
Like I've never worried about competition because I love to look at things from an end-to-end solution. Like for your podcast, for example, like even for TalkBoss, like when people go to the website, they want to get a demo, they put their name, email, phone number in there. It'll either coordinate a demo or it'll say, hey, you want to talk to us? Call this number. And it's already integrated with the calendar. So
Yeah.
like when people call up and they want to get a demo or whatever, like it'll literally say, hey, you want to talk? I got time at Friday at 2:00, or if that doesn't work for you, Monday at 10 a.m. Does that work for you? And whatever they commit to, it's going to grab their email, phone number, whatever they need, and literally send a text message confirmation like, hey, you're booked. See you here. Email confirmation goes out. Calendar invite goes out. Bro,
So
it's
how is it
all
integrated in the back end with all those tasks that VAs normally would handle? It just plugs in the data that it takes, and then it'll, like, you have it plugged into some sort of like...
We even have ChatGPT parse the transcript from the call to find out what the actual result of the call is. So based on the result of the call, it will do a specific action. Like if somebody says no, then it says, okay, cool, thanks, great talking to you. If it says yes, it sends them to a payment link or gets them on the calendar or whatever. And here's the best part. We already have an AI chat bot as well that will send them follow-up text messages. So for example, one of the friction points in sales is getting someone to fill out a form.
Yeah.
Well, what if they already commit and say yes, and then afterwards it's like, hey, thanks for talking to me. I just had a couple more questions for you. What's this? What's your website? What's this? It'll literally back and forth with them. It'll fill out the damn form for you, bro.
Jeff, you're going to be a billionaire, dude.
Oh, man. This is the future. It's funny because it used to be the future. It's here. It's now. Like the future is now.
Let's just do it. But you know how I already was, I had capture more business. We do like the we did cold calls. That was so I had a Fiverr gig that ended up blowing up after COVID. And I had a insurance job I was supposed to take in Scottsdale. Instead of taking the job, I said, screw it. I'm going to do this Fiverr thing, run my own business. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I had so many leads come in, and I used to sell, my average deal price was like $200.
Oh.
So I was like barely, but I sold like 10 of them. Like I would be selling like 3 a day.
Damn.
What ended up happening was I started to hire other people, and I started to sell them for like $500. Then my average ticket went up to like $700. And then like now, I don't do as many, and I only do like 5 to 10K deals pretty
Can
much.
I point out something? We've been trying to work together for a while, me and you, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted you to sell. This is it.
Yeah.
Like if you can't sell this,
Dude,
you might as well just take off your shoes and give up on the human race.
Dude, this is like
Like-
exactly what I've been selling already for years, except for better, automated. I hope they could get the time frame from the, like when you say the response to
So that's all adjustable.
Yeah.
You can change the speed. So the reason I have that set at 3 seconds, and I'll tell you why. Most people, just like that, they pause in between their thoughts and their statements.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most annoying things in the world is when you're talking and someone interrupts you.
Yeah.
So I would much rather have a little bit of a wait time and a pause, waiting for someone to respond back, than having the AI be like, like you're like, dude, I'm not done talking, and then because then it takes a few seconds for it to like process and say, okay, this person's still talking. I should probably shut up.
Yeah.
So like. This is things that I don't think a lot of people think about, because humans by nature, we know when it's okay to interrupt somebody. And also just like right there, like while I'm talking, you're like, oh yeah. Like you know that I'm going to keep talking when you say that. Mm-hmm. The AI is still trying to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
So you have to be very thoughtful. And this is why I think marketers are going to run the world and ruin the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
Well,
it's interesting how in run and ruin, there's just the one difference is I. And I think, you know, this is that individuality. That's what the I is, you know, the individual has the power to either run or ruin things in life.
I think of the possibilities, but I also think, like, I made a post the other day that was like, some of like the highest paid sales guys I know make millions of dollars, you know, a year.
Yeah.
So, and then I said, but some of the highest paid marketers I know make tens of millions.
I saw that
hundreds
post.
of millions
Yeah.
a year. And I said, you know, if you know how to do both, it's
Game over.
Big game over. Yeah. So I think that I knew it a long time ago, because I see a lot of people say like, yeah, you got to master sales and do sales and do sales. I was like, and I don't want to be like arrogant or whatever, but I was like, dude, like this comes natural to me. I need to get like, I need more of like a bigger challenge. And what I struggled with and where I did financially, like was having trouble, was with marketing, because I was like, dude, marketing is so a long game. Like you are
It's
not
a
going to
long
get,
game.
you are not going to get anywhere in the first 5 years unless like you are maybe like studying
Marketing
nonstop.
and sales have one thing in common, which is it's all about the trust that's built and
Yeah.
the relationship.
Yeah.
And the difference between marketing and sales really is that inbound versus outbound thought. And in sales, you're reaching out to people, you're figuring out, you know, how to build the relationship. Sometimes the sales cycle is long, depending on the product, especially depending on the price. Whereas marketing is about building trust and getting people to come in. And I think the true marriage, and this is what's really messed up, when I come into a business and I usually audit what their sales and marketing looks like, and they're always super disconnected.
Yeah.
Like the marketing team and sales team usually don't even like each other.
Yeah.
You know, like they're just so opposed. Like each of their opinions are so different. And it's like, it's weird because like they're so important to do together and they never really have a plan together.
Yeah.
Because like the best way to do sales is if you have the marketing team on board. Like if the marketing and the sales team are working together, the marketing team is building the trust so the sales team can close the deal faster and easier.
Yeah.
And the sales team is very important to understand the power of what marketing's doing, because look, hey, we're doing a new campaign on whatever, you know, like if they just had in sync what the hell they're doing together, like life would be so much easier for everybody, but they're just never synced up. And it's always bothered me. You know, I've never had to sell anything in my whole life. As a IT guy, as a project manager, my job was after the salespeople sold it, like I actually had to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I never had to sell anything. That's actually another interesting story of how I became the savage marketer. And by the way, I don't really consider myself the savage marketer. I think the savage marketer is what all of us are inside. Like if you're really a good entrepreneur, you are a bit savage. You know, you have to be. And we were just talking about this before the podcast started, like how small the circle is once you get to a certain echelon.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's just the people that keep showing up, because we have it kind of takes, like, you have to be a little bit crazy
Yeah.
to be a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit of a grit, like that I think most people are just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get a job. It's like, and don't get me wrong, there's been many times over the years, especially when I was just starting this business,
Yeah.
where I was like, oh man, I'm about to just fold it.
Or when you talk to people and then you tell them what you're doing and they look at you with a blank face, like they have no idea what you're saying. And you're like, yeah, man, I'm going to do this and this is what's going to go on. And then you just hear like, okay, man, like that's great. Like, good for you.
The glaze,
It's like,
the eyes
dude,
glaze over.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like this is like real potential. Like this is real. And it's always just kind of like this, you know, like you just kind of see the thought bounce off their head. And then
I'm going to tell you something that is something very real that bothers me. And I wish it wasn't real. You know, when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, the people that I knew in my network, the corporate jobs, my friends and family, you know, luckily I have a very supportive family. But when I first started doing my own thing, it felt like everyone was my cheerleader, man. It was like, dude, they're like, go Jeff, like you can do this, you know, like they're rooting for me. And it was like amazing feeling. But then when I actually became successful and I got to the top, it was so weird how it's like, I think there was like resentment built, and it's like now that I got there, now that I've become successful, what I've figured out is that I'm a reminder that they could have been there.
Yeah.
That they could have been there. And you have to think about it, especially for those of you who grew up and you see the same people around you that are struggling. And, you know, it's a very hard realization that if they worked as hard as you, if they did the things, if they believed in themselves, if they put themselves in the right situation, they could have. So you have to remember that there's people out there that look at you as a reminder of where they could have been. And it sucks.
Yeah, I can distinctly remember when I used to be a super hater. Like genuinely, I was a hater. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like I was a straight hater. Like I was like, yeah, screw that guy. I don't like him. Or like when I walked into a new job and I wouldn't like the guy who was like the top, and I would just walk in and I'd be like, yeah, I can't work here. Like I literally would try to punch that guy in the face, second day on the job.
Right.
And then I just kept like, and I got really lucky because, and I say this, and I mentioned it in a few podcasts, that I have gone through this thing called Landmark, like, you know, it's like a life coaching, seminar, development, self-development, get rid of resentment, get rid of anger, get rid of stuff that you just have built up from childhood. And like I did that, and then my life just slowly started getting like a little bit less angry.
Wow.
And a little bit less hate, and a little bit less, and a little bit more like, you know, and I always inside, I feel like was like a really good, like hearted person, because my parents taught me to do that. But I didn't always act that way because I just don't know where the disconnect happened. But some point between childhood and teen years and whatever, you just go down the path of like, I want to just punch everybody in the face. And I don't know, like that's just, you know, for me.
It's interesting that you say that, because for me, I guess because I came from the corporate world and I always just kind of worked my way up the ladder and stuff, like I fell flat on my face, man. Like when I became an entrepreneur, going from $150K a year salary, W-2, to, you know, negative 50. You know, it's like, it's funny because like my first year when I left, it was like, you know, I started VA staffer while I was still working at Philips. Like it was like a little side hustle. It was never profitable. It was just something fun that I did. Just basically a permanent staffing solution. Like I will help you find an awesome VA, place it in your company, which is still our same model, by the way, except we focus now
when you charge it like so low margin and you feel bad for charging.
Dude, I used to have like negative margins.
Margins.
Like, it was, I didn't know what I was doing. And I never had to be profitable.
And the same people that you sell to for that negative margin are the biggest critics. Like, oh, I could have got this for $10 cheaper. I found out you're charging, you're making $2, you know, $1 an hour off of the VA. It's like, dude, I make $1 an hour, like off of the VA. Like,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And like even today, like, you know, I have weird, like I have a client who, you know, like I give my clients a buyout clause, you know, for $10,000, they can, that's our replacement fee. They can just take the VA full time if they want, you know, and I make about a 35% margin on my VAs, you know, and, you know, the markup's higher, but the margins are lower because I have a pretty big management team. But what's really interesting is that, you know, a lot of people, they don't see the hard work that it takes to find the right people. That's actually the hardest part.
Yeah, it is.
Because people always say, well, how do you find these VAs? Are you on Fiverr, Upwork, online jobs? I'm like, never.
Yeah.
The best trick, all right, this is a good part. You're gonna listen to this, people. The number one thing, if you've ever hired a VA and been burnt out or they disappeared, which is the most story, the secret of hiring a VA is to never hire a VA.
Okay.
A VA is someone who already has an entrepreneurial mindset. If you want someone to stick with you, they can't have an entrepreneurial mindset because they're going to be freelancers. They're going to be juggling clients. They're going to try to figure out how to make the most money. They're not truly dedicated to you.
Yeah.
What I do is I find call center agents that have worked there 3-4 years. By the way, there's going to be a lot of call center agents looking for a job after this Talk Boss comes out.
Yeah.
Right. We literally just launched it. We only have like 10 clients.
So your VAs are call center agents?
Most of my VAs are call center agents that are tired of making calls.
Yeah.
And we train them to become executive assistants. So they literally work on American hours for the past couple years. They're already zombies. They're already, they're already trained. They're already trained by American. They can speak great English, but they're just tired of doing calls. Most people at call centers, they hate their jobs. It's just, it's good paying.
Yeah.
In the Philippines. It's like one of the top paying jobs is a call center agent. And that's about to go away. 13% of the Philippine economy, 1.3 of the whole Philippines population works in a call center.
Wow. So they're going to probably know their job was replaced by AI, and then the country's probably going to make a move to integrate AI into like their future. So they might actually end up ahead from that.
I'm going to tell you something. I hope my people in the Philippines are listening right now. If you are in a call center job, you are fucked. You're done.
Yeah.
This AI is better than any Filipino call center agent. I love them to death. I'm a resident of the Philippines. I'm working with the government over there. I'm launching programs with Jared Dillinger. He's a really good friend of mine.
Do you know Manny Pacquiao?
I don't know Manny, but I'd love to. I know Miss Universe.
Dude, you should get
Michelle D's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like right now, the whole Philippine economy is at risk. And I'll tell you something else. I went over there and I was blown away. I came downstairs from the hotel, grabbed the newspaper, the Daily Tribune. I looked at it, and lo and behold, guess what the headline of it was? It said, AI jobs apocalypse feared. And you know what? The first paragraph was of the article. Senator Marcos is now contemplating legislation to ban AI.
That's the worst
You
idea.
think that's gonna do
That's
anything?
the worst idea.
Yeah, that's like let's ban sex while you're at it. Let's ban murder while you're at it. Murder's bad. We should ban murder. That's what we should do.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how this is happening. I did one Facebook Live just demoing TalkBoss, and my headline was the call center industry is at risk and peril. And it got shared in the Philippines. I'd say 70% of my viewership in the Philippines. It has over 120,000 views on that video now. Mm-hmm. And people are straight up in denial. There's a woman who literally thought I was acting. She thought that it was an act. Yeah. She said, "Nice acting." Yeah. I'm like,
no, I saw that comment. I saw that.
It's a real. This is real, guys.
It's like
what you heard earlier is real. It's not even prompted. I could call it right now and give it. Watch this. Let me show you something. We're gonna do a completely different scenario.
No. Ask it about say a lady thought you were or whatever.
That's great. See, completely unprompted. This guy just gave me a topic. Here we go. All right, we're gonna do this. Here we go. Hey, so listen, I got something for you. I did a Facebook Live video the other day, and I demoed the TalkBoss to the world. That's you. And I had a call center agent in the Philippines in denial who basically thought that you and I were an act, that you were just a human, or this was a scripted interaction. And I just want to reassure people that you're actually an AI. What do you say to the naysayers?
Hey there. So you're talking about the TalkBox, huh? That's pretty cool. And yeah, I get it. Some folks might think this is all smoke and mirrors, but nope, it's the real deal. I'm not a human, and this isn't scripted. I'm like your AI sidekick, here to chat and help out. It's all about the tech magic, you know? What else can I tell them to make them believe?
Well, I don't know. I mean, quite frankly, I don't know what you're going to tell them, but someone thought that we were acting. I mean, what could you tell them to make them believe that we're not an act?
Oh, for sure. I get that. It's kind of wild to think there's an AI on the other end of the line, right? But here's the thing. I can do stuff on the fly, answer questions, and even throw in a joke or two. Like, why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. See, I can be spontaneous. Plus, I can chat about pretty much anything, and I'm learning all the time. So what's something super random you want to talk about? Let's show them how it's done.
I like that idea. Okay, let's talk about something super random. So how about give me something random over there, bro?
Tell him what's the best advice for Andrew.
Okay, I got something for you. I'm here at a podcast studio. It's owned by this amazing dude named Drew, And Drew is an absolute legend. He's a loan officer in his past life. He spent over $100,000 setting up a badass studio. He's got celebrities in here. He's got like Theo in here. He's got some really cool dudes. What is some advice that you could give him about his recording studio?
Oh, Drew sounds like a total boss setting up a killer podcast studio. So advice for Drew? Well, first off, it's all about the vibe, right? Make sure the studio feels welcoming and chill so guests can just like open up and forget the mics are even there. Then networking is key. Drew's already got celebs coming through, which is awesome. Maybe he could host some events or workshops to get even more cool people in the door, spread the word. And hey, don't forget about the power of social media, sharing behind the scenes stuff, teasers for upcoming episodes that can really hype up the audience. Lastly, maybe think about the tech side of things. Like, is there some new gadget or software that could take the recordings to the next level? Always room to level up. Drew's doing great, but there's always new stuff to try. What do you think? Got any ideas yourself?
You know what? That's brilliant. Why don't you make a rap about it?
Oh, a rap, huh? All right, let's give it a shot. Here we go. Yo, Drew's got a studio. It's the talk of the town. Celebs on the mic laying their stories down. $100,000 deep, but it's more than just cash. It's a passion for sound, making a podcast splash. From loan officer to audio boss, he switched his lane. Now he's hosting the stars, making waves, no plain Jane. Networking, connecting, it's a social affair. Got Theo in the booth with content to spare. Instagram, Twitter, keep the hype on the rise. Teasers and clips, catching ears and eyes. Always room to grow. Tech upgrades are a must. In Drew's studio, every track is robust. So keep the vibe cool and the conversation real. Drew's spot is the place where raw stories peel. That's the rap for Drew, the legend of sound. In the podcast game, he's the best around. How's that for a bit of fun?
Yo, that's a clip. That's a clip, dude. Put that on the page, dude. Put that on the page, dude.
Drew is clapping right now. Like, you just got all of us in a friggin', we're just mind blown, bro.
That's your testimonial, dude.
Awesome. I'm stoked to hear that you guys are digging it. It's all about having a good time and keeping things fresh, If Drew's clapping, then I must be doing something right.
All right.
Let's go. Kicking ass, taking names, baby.
This is here, guys. Is this nutty? Like, Andrew's over here dropping his balls on the ground. He's just like, he doesn't even know what's going on right now. He's like, what? Like,
we got so many good clips for this already. It's going to be...
This is nuts,
good.
right?
Yeah.
But this is what I'm trying to say. Like, for me, by the way, this is, let me give you the challenge. I'm going to give you the challenge, the biggest challenge that AI consultants face. The biggest challenge that AI consultants face is that they always need to be on the cutting edge. And that kind of sucks. Like, it's not fun to have to wake up and like learn new things. So, but there's a solution to that, which ironically is AI. Mm-hmm. And I've identified that issue. So I actually have 2 people dedicated to just, now there's a million AI apps coming out all the time, right? Like, and that's not the key. You just have to get results for people, right? Like, that's the key, is get results. So I find ways to get results for people, whether it's voice, whether it's chat, whether it's, AI conversational bots on your website, whether it's the integration of AI in your emails and your marketing and sales, and using AI to help edit your videos and do your captions and things like that. Like, depends on the use case of the person, right?
Yeah.
I actually thought about this. So next month, I'm actually launching a newsletter. And I'm a savage marketer. Mm-hmm. The name of the newsletter is Just the Tip. That's it. Just the Tip.
Isn't there already like a podcast called that?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's already a podcast called that, I'm pretty sure.
It's going to be amazing, though. It's Just the Tip. And it's just your daily dose of AI value. And it's literally going to be just like, just the tip. It's not going to, I just wanted to make it a nice, sweet newsletter. And I'm going to feature what other AI consultants are doing in their business and how other businesses are using AI so that people can see like real, actual use cases. Because most of the AI that's out right now, they're like little pony tricks, like, that's cool. It can do this or whatever, but what does it do for my business? Mm-hmm. And I think that hearing real life stories of how people are using AI in their business, how they're increasing their productivity, how they're increasing their sales, how they're increasing, just the absolute value that they can deliver to people. Because every single person right now who's listening to this, who either has a business or they have a job and they want to keep that job,
Yeah.
You got to figure out a way to leverage AI to stay ahead. And I think that's the real key that I'm finding out as, you know, an AI consultant.
Well, and as time goes on, it's just going to prove your point more, right? Like, it's just going to become more obvious. It's just going to depend on if you get on early enough and learn enough to switch to whatever you have to do, or you're going to let it go by and then you're going to be shit out of luck.
Yeah, I mean, most people when I just demo this, they're like, wow, I can't believe that actually exists right now. Like, even for me, I'm like, is this really 2024 right now?
Yeah. Because
Like,
think about only 10 years ago, we were barely getting social media started. And
yeah, I mean, TikTok wasn't even around.
yeah,
TikTok's like not even 5 years old.
Yeah.
It's nutty. You know, I think it came out 2020 or something like that.
Well, it used to be Musically before.
Musically,
it was
yeah,
TikTok.
whatever.
So it was just a bunch of really weird people who just like
Tweens
yeah,
dancing.
they would do these like that, and then it became normal. Now I guess it's normal, right?
Yeah.
Back then, so the original TikTok was the Musically, and then people would just do like this, and that's all they did.
We live in a new world, man.
So what I like to do is give people some of your best advice. So I would say, what's the Jeff J. Hunter's advice for business, for life, just, purposeful advice that you have?
Two things that I would say. Number one, like always remember that people value the human connection. So in this world of AI and automation, it's very important to be human. It's very important. That's the advantage we have. Like I told you before, the MIT research shows that humans favor humans over AI and over robots. So never forget that. In part of your marketing, you do not want to make people feel like you've passed them off to a robot. Nobody wants to be passed off to a robot. How many times have you called up something and listened to an automated piece of shit?
Yeah.
Right? We don't like that. Okay? Number two is you need to be around the people building the future. You need to be around the people building the future. Look who's building the future and freaking be around them. Like, make it a very specific goal. Most people don't understand, in this world, relationships have to be very intentional. And now that everybody can use AI to create content, no one is going to trust content anymore. Content is no longer king. Content is not king. It's the brand, and community is now king. The person who builds the strongest brand, who builds their authority, and has a avid, amazing community that people want to be a part of is going to win the game. I'm telling you right now, anybody who's listening to this right now and does not have a community and does not have a strong authority brand, you will not survive the AI apocalypse. You will have to compete against literal pieces of trash who can use AI to write really good and who can create stories. I have a custom GPT. I've done $7,000 in sales in the past month selling a $97 custom GPT that just writes social media posts. Writes social media posts better than, it's trained from 100 of my top social media posts.
Yeah, but that's like 100%, 99% margin?
Oh, 100%. Well, it took 7 years of me learning copywriting to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it's a tool that it knows exactly how to write like me. You can give any story and it will write live. Like, we could even do a demo of it. You can plug in my phone or whatever later, and we can literally make a post about this podcast in a minute. It will literally write a post about this podcast, and it will be better than 99% of the copywriters you know.
So, I'm going to need your help on a lot of stuff. Once you know it, you can't unknow it, and then you're like, dang it, I don't want to not do it.
Part of my savage marketing, I did something kind of shady. I like to tease people, just the tip. Right before Black Friday, 6 days before Black Friday, I released my viral social media generator custom GPT. That's the name of it. It's pretty long, but it's very specific. And I gave people access to it for free.
Yeah, I have it.
6 days before. 6 days before Black Friday, because it was part of my Black Friday bundle. Okay. I made $100,000 on Black Friday just selling this. $100,000. Imagine that, just selling AI information that I've taught, right? But this is the wild part. I got people addicted to that. Like, I saw people posting things in my writing style and they were getting 100, 200 likes. They've never gotten over 10 likes before. And they're just like mind blown, right? What I did was I pulled it. I pulled it off the store. I pulled it off the store 6 days later, and I said, hey, if you want to keep using this, you have to buy it on my Black Friday bundle. And I had people messaging me, straight up messaging me like, oh my God, where'd my bot go? Why I need this? Like, where can I buy it?
Yeah, once they get used to it, it's like that's like the iPhone addiction.
I had 800 people download that and use it in 6 days. And it was one of the main drivers for my successful Black Friday launch because people got addicted to it and they felt reliant on it because I've developed a way to tell your story better than you. That's it. I'm just better at telling stories. You know, most people have an amazing story, but they just suck at telling it.
Yeah.
So like, this is one of the reasons why I love AI. It gives me the opportunity to take my skill set, which is copywriting and marketing, and deploy it on a mass level. You know, most people that work with me, I charge $3,000 to $9,000 a strategy session. So to most people, that's out of reach. But for them to be able to have my copywriting style for $97, okay, like no brainer, right? So like, this is another thing that's really beautiful. I'm also going to say something here. It's just kind of bold, but the lead magnet is dead. You know, people used to have a free downloadable guide or just free training or whatever. Like, it's dead. The best lead magnet right now is having AI solve a massive problem for someone. So I have about 10 different AI tools that do a very specific function for people. I have an AI tool that literally you type in your name, a little bit about you and what you do, and it will come up with a 3-page report of exactly who your target audience is, their fears, their objections, their desires, and then will automatically say, based on your audience, here's what you should sell them. And it'll even come up with the names of what you should call it and how to overcome the objections that your audience has. This is something that used to take me like 2 months to do for a client, and it does it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I have the ability to give that away for free. And talk about having great quality leads. Imagine having someone type in their name, their product, their website, their biggest objections, and you have all that data before. So now you have TalkBoss call them up.
Yeah.
Right? Say, hey, I noticed you filled out the form. We did this analysis for your business. We'd like to help you build the offer out. Because that's what I do. I build offers and I help people market stuff. So it's a perfect lead magnet for me because now I'm literally giving them their next project. And of course, they're not going to build it themselves. They're going to need help. Talk about a lead magnet. So I would implore everyone right now to think about how can they instantly add value to someone by solving a problem and not giving them homework. See, when you give someone a template or a guide or a training, it's giving them work.
Yeah.
You can use AI to actually solve a real live problem in real time, and they go, what the actual F?
Yeah, you provide so much value up front that now you have their trust.
Bingo. And we all know it's about that trust. It's about that brand authority and community. Boom.
Yep.
Because guess what happens after they submit? Hey, that's great. You want to learn more about how to do this stuff? Join my Facebook group. It's free. Boom. Now they're in your ecosystem where it's permission-based marketing. Now they want to be in your Facebook group. They want to see more content from you. How amazing would it be to wake up every day and have a group of 3,000 people that want you to post?
Yeah.
They're waiting for you to write something. I have people that literally say, they send me screenshots that I'm one of their favorites or whatever on Facebook, whatever, because every time I post, they're like, it's gold.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to post.
I've been watching and following your Facebook. I found you through Facebook originally. That's where I originally saw all of the stuff. And I just was like, this guy's always on it, dude. You're always on.
Is there a way we can zoom in on my phone? I mean, I'll explain what it is for the listeners, but is there a way we can zoom in on the phone? So this is just my organic reach on Facebook profile. This isn't a page. This isn't something like I promoted or whatever. I have 127,000 reach, which means 127,000 people in the last 28 days have viewed my content. And I post a lot. You'll see on there the last 28 days, I've done like 65 posts. Okay. 65 posts. Like, this is why I'm living what I'm telling you guys about making sure that you have an authority brand. So, and this is the thing, because a lot of people, they ask me like, hey, what social media platform should I be on or whatever? I'm like, dude, it's whatever one that you want to do. It's literally like, I know people that build their Instagram following. Like, I'm not a huge Instagram guy. I know you've been trying to get me on Instagram. I got like 12,000 followers on there, but my Facebook, I got like 38,000 followers. My TikTok, I got like 100. I just checked. I got 140,000 followers on TikTok now.
Yeah.
Which I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's so funny, but like, for me, what's really important is, and this should be for everybody who's listening and watching this, is that you have to just be where your audience is. That means you have to intentionally build that audience on that platform. So for me, pretty much all of my offers, all of my lead magnets, everything always brings people back to a free Facebook group I have called Scale Your Business and Your Brand with AI. Mm-hmm. It used to be called Scale Your Business and Your Brand, but now I put AI in there. Right? But because it's permission-based marketing.
Yeah.
And this, the best marketing you can possibly do is when people want to see your content.
And you have to now with the A2P registration for toll, like if you want to text, SMS marketing, as well as the new update February, actually as of now, the new update for email marketing. Yep. So you have to also, and there's also the, now they have the spam filters that are built in.
Yep.
So they catch the emails before they come in and they show you a quarantine list. So now it'll show you like 12 spam, whatever in a quarantine list you get every week.
Wow.
I started getting that. So that's why I also started working with guys that know everything about all that stuff and they know how to get, not around it, but instead they know how to do proper marketing so that when someone, like people only get one email, but it hits their inbox and they see it. So I've got guys that can do all that stuff too, which is great because that's how I've done my own $4,000 of sales like in the last week on just that. So
well, it's very important to have a clean list. It used to be like if you had 3 to 5%, 10% open rate, like good job. Yeah. Now it's like, dude, Google's looking for like 30, 40% open rate. So like, what that also means is you should probably delete people, just stop sending emails to people that don't open their emails.
Yeah, there's too many people out there to focus on marketing with people who are not interested, right?
Yeah, and the people that are not interested, there's other ways to smash them. Like you can hit Facebook ads.
Yeah.
You can do Facebook ads, you can do TikTok ads, you can do Instagram ads, you can do friggin' Twitter ads, and you can actually tell people, yo, open your email.
Or you could just serve that community that follows you to the fullest. As they grow, you keep charging them. They keep making money, but you're making money because you're making them money and you're only taking a percentage. And you got 100 people and now you're a piece of 100 businesses.
You are smart.
I'm just learning, dude.
I like that about you.
I learned from you and other people. So that's where I just literally like a year, dude. A year. And I'm like, dude, 2.0, like just learning from people. It's crazy.
Well, I'm so proud of you, bro. I'm like, loving what you're doing and the way you build the podcast, and you've always had very big visions and dreams. And I remember that first time I met you in person at Grant Cardone's conference and I gave you that Savage Market hat.
I still have it.
Yeah, I still remember that hustle.
Yeah,
because that was the only hat I had. I literally gave you the hat off my head.
Jeff's like a mentor, dude, from like a day one mentor type of mentor for me.
Well, you're a savage, so you earned it.
Like I said, we'll do some business on that Talk Boss, man. I really want to do that.
Well, so. It's been an honor to be here. And honestly, like, I came here for an event. And, just for those of you who are listening in, this guy, he was like, bro, you're going to be in Miami. I have people I want to interview in Miami. Like, I will get this podcast studio. I'll hit up Drew. I'm going to get all this stuff popping. Just tell me you're going to be here. And I literally got 4 hours of sleep last night to be here. And even Drew was impressed we were here because in Miami, everybody's late.
Yeah. But all right. So kicking ass, taking names. We're here with Jeff J. Hunter. If you want to find Jeff, you can go to either
jeffjhunter.com. You can click that little About Me button, and there's all my Instagram and Facebook. I'm not gonna lie, Facebook's tough because I've had 5,000 friends for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So like IG, LinkedIn. I still got like 10,000 more on LinkedIn I can do. But the point is, hey, my cell phone number, 971-599-7704. Text me. Yeah. Like I'm an open book, I mean, my AI might respond to you. I just say it.
All right. And kicking ass, taking names with Jeff J. Hunter. Thanks, guys.